Hey everybody, this is Jyotsna Ramachandran here, and welcome to this week's Facebook Live. So, what am I going to talk about today? See, today things are changing at a very fast pace, and for many of you, your business and careers may be at a stage where you're not sure about the future, right? So, today I'm going to be talking to you about this. It is the three C's to competition proof yourself. Now, there are some people who are still doing extremely well even during these turbulent times, but for many of you, it's a challenge, right? About what's going to happen next month, what's going to happen in the next 6 months. So, based on what I'm seeing happening around me, and based on the few successful people around me, I have derived these three C's, which I'm going to be sharing in today's video. So, let's jump in and see what is that first C to competition proof yourself. The first C is to understand that competition itself is a myth. There is nothing like competition. So, why do we feel that we are in a competitive world or competitive environment? When we think that there are very few customers, and if I don't do something, then somebody else may take away my customer, that is when you feel that the other person in your field is your competitor. Okay, that's because we are fishing inside a small pond. We feel that there is a scarcity in the number of fish. But what if you are fishing in an ocean, right? What if you expand your market and believe that your customers are not just limited to a few people, but it can just be the whole world? Then you will not have this fear that the other people in your industry are going to take away your customers. So that's what is really important. See, why do we feel that competition is there? It's maybe because of all this reality shows that we see, right? If you see something like an Indian Idol or a super singer or things like that, if there are 30 people competing for one title and everybody knows that only one can be a winner, right? That happens on TV, but that is not real life. In real life, there can be any number of good singers, any number of people can be successful. They can create their own thing and uniqueness and stand out from other people, right? So if we believe that others are not our competitors and we can choose the number of people we want to serve, then you'll realize that competition is a myth. If you look at it, who are we? We are just a speck of dust in this universe, right? And to satisfy our needs and our requirements, manage our family, take care of their needs, and also serve a few thousands or millions of people in this world, we do not need too much. Because we think that it's a big deal, we look at everybody else as competition. If you can do really well and others can do well as well, right? See, it's like this. If your mom is making a pie and there are four children, and if you think your brother or sister will eat one piece and then you will be left with a smaller piece, that's when you feel that your siblings are a competition. But what if your mom makes a bigger pie, right? So if you just expand the size of your pie, expand your market, expand your mind, you will not look at others as competition. How many of are you are with me on this? Please type with you in the comments if you're able to resonate with this idea that competition is a myth. The world is too vast and our needs are not too much, right? Thank you so much, guys, for agreeing to that. So that was the first C, which is to understand that competition is a myth. What is the second C? The second C is all about collaboration. See, nowadays, I see a lot of people collaborating. I see a lot of creative artists. They are great dancers, great musicians, great singers, great at whatever they are doing, but they are not keeping their talent to themselves. They are collaborating with other artists all the time because they believe that when two people collaborate, when two or more people collaborate, magic can happen, right? This is very prevalent in the artistic world. But right now, I see this happen in all spheres of life and in all kinds of businesses. Okay, a good example is a couple of years ago, a friend of mine who's also an author and a publisher, her name is Alinka, she reached out to me and she said that Jyotsna, in the self-publishing business, we all believe that we can only achieve an Amazon bestseller. We cannot go to something big as a USA Today bestseller. But what if we all collaborate and create something big? So she brought in a lot of people. 24 of us came together and we wrote one book called Write and Grow Rich. So that got published 2 years ago. So each of us, all 24 of us, contributed one chapter each to that book. And we also pulled in our resources and we marketed the book to all of our audiences. And you know what happened? That book not just went ahead and reached the USA Today bestseller, but it also went and hit the Wall Street Journal bestseller chart. So it broke our notion that self-published authors cannot hit these big charts. And it was possible only because of collaboration. Because none of us, though we were all in the same space, we were all serving the same kind of customers, but we all knew that we had something unique to bring to the table. We all knew that we knew something which can add value to that book. And that's why we never looked at each other as competition. We all collaborated, contributed, and something magical happened. Yeah. In the last few years, as I'm growing my company, Happy Self Publishing, I have also seen a big player like Notion Press growing tremendously. Notion Press is India's largest self publishing company. In fact, very soon I think they'll become the world's largest. And they're growing at such a fast pace. Every month, thousands of books are getting churned out from their company. Now, a few years ago, maybe I would have gotten really uncomfortable or scared seeing their growth. But now I feel so happy seeing them grow because they are reaching out that message to the world, especially in India, that self publishing is a great option. They are opening so many channels for people like me. By marketing themselves so well, they have created this new demand for self publishing, and I'm really thankful to them. So, today, what is happening is when certain type of clients come to me, like people who want to publish poetry books or people who want to publish books in other regional languages whom I typically don't serve, or people who don't have a business funnel related to their book, then maybe they are not my ideal customers. So what I would do in the past is just politely tell them that they're not my clients. But now what I do is I refer all of them to Notion Press. I just send them straight to Notion Press, and now I'm in a an agreement with them, which is like an affiliate agreement. So what happens is I get paid when some of my referrals start working with Notion Press. So it's a win-win for both of us, right? So I don't look at any of them as competitors anymore. So collaboration is what you all need to be looking at in this new world, because world is going to completely be different after this corona thing gets over, and this is when we all need to stop looking at each other as competition and start collaborating. But before we get into collaboration, there's another crucial C that we all should look at and should not miss. If you have to collaborate, then you need this other C. Without this other C, you're not ready to collaborate. So what's that other C? Let's look at that. The third C is create. Unless you're a creator, you cannot confidently look at other people as collaborators. You will still have that fear, that insecurity that they are competitors. So how do you go about creating new stuff? You need to be a lifelong learner. Today, it's no more about I finished college 20 years ago. I have this certificate from this MBA institute. However premium the college may be, it is of no use today because the world is evolving at such a rapid pace. We need to stay updated. We need to be a lifelong learner. And it doesn't stop with just learning. We need to also implement it in our lives and create that uniqueness for ourselves. So right now, if you see in this lockdown period, every day at least I spend 2-3 hours learning from other people and going back and implementing and see what can I learn out of this and what can I make as my own, like create my own uniqueness out of this. So when you know what is your USP, when you know what you are good at and you constantly create, that is when you become eligible to start collaborating with others. For example, about a week ago, I got an opportunity to collaborate with Avi Arya. Avi is one of the top internet marketers in India and in the world. And his tribe is huge. There are like 50,000 people in his Facebook group. And my community, my tribe is just growing. I hardly have 1,000 people. So I was asking, why would somebody like Avi want me to come and speak to his audience and do a webinar for his audience? And that's when I realized that of late I have been creating so many things, videos, podcasts, my courses. I'm on social media all the time. I'm not just creating, but I'm also letting the world know that I'm creating. And probably Avi must have identified that and he believed that I can add value to his audience. So if I did not create all this stuff, I cannot make myself eligible to collaborate with other people, right? And yesterday something magical happened. Yesterday I was one of the attendees of this live event called Digital Masters Conference. It was put together by Success Gyan, and 9 people who are the leaders in the digital marketing space came together and created a live event. And as a result, like all of their audiences came in, right? So if one guy had, say, a lack of followers, all of those guys brought in their followers to attend that event. So there were like 2,800 people watching it live for more than 5 hours. And as a result, what happened? Of course, we all learned a lot of things from all of those people. Each of them got some great personal branding. And more importantly, all the funds that were collected at that event were contributed towards the Prime Minister Fund for corona relief, right? So if they had not collaborated together and if they were all doing their own stuff, then this kind of a huge event of this scale would have never happened. So thanks to Success Gyan and all those 9 amazing people to make that happen. So, why were they all able to come together? Because, see, they were all in the social media, digital marketing space. They can easily look at each other as competition, but they all knew what were their strengths. They are all lifelong learners, they are all constantly evolving, learning, and implementing. So, they knew what they were good at. Therefore, they don't look at each other as competition. Therefore, they are constantly able to create and collaborate. So, creation is super important. We need to constantly create to improve ourselves so that we can qualify ourselves to go reach out to other people and ask for meaningful collaboration, right? So that was the third C. So to sum up, I would just like to say that in today's time and age, when things are changing at such a fast pace, if you get scared of your competitors, of so-called competitors in your industry, then you will just become extinct. The best way is to understand that competition is a myth. The world is too big. If you look at your competitors as a small set of people, then you will get scared. But if you look at the world as your clients, then you will not have that problem. But in order to do that, you need to constantly be in the mode of creation, and you should also collaborate with other people so that you can have some magic happening in your life. Okay, so before I sign off, I would just like to leave you with a final thought that if some of you want to really competition proof yourself and really stand out from the so called competitors, then a great way to do that is to create your book. And you don't have to do this alone. You can collaborate with other experts in your industry to do that. And I'm going to be teaching all of this in my live webinar. So if you're watching me live right now, then please don't forget to register for my next live webinar that's happening tomorrow morning. That is Tuesday morning at 11 a.m. But if you're watching a replay of this on YouTube or other places, then don't worry. I will still leave a link below. If you click that, it will guide you to the next live webinar where you can register, learn a lot of stuff about creating and collaborating, and make a mark for yourself in your industry. Okay, so I'll see you then, and thank you so much for watching my live videos. I will really appreciate if you can leave your comments below and tell me what was your key takeaway from this video, and I'll be totally thrilled if you just share this video, because that way you can reach this message to so many of your friends. So please do that and keep supporting, and thank you for all the love. Bye bye. I'll see you next week.